Hello, good morning.
Hello,
Another
good
awesome Saturday.
morning. Kira, my friend, good morning.
Hello, everyone. Hello, our versus visionaries.
Hello, visionaries.
Thank you for tuning with us on our YouTube channel. I hope that you enjoyed our first podcast. And we are going to start with a very provocative question. Have you ever pondered whether the pursuit of perfection hinders your ability to embrace your authentic self?
Ooh,
Hot.
are you talking to me?
When I'm thinking to perfection, it's like I'm trying to get a high five with an unicorn.
Oh my God.
It's
Yes.
elusive, and it's like probably mythical and
Impossible.
impossible to achieve, because I think Vicky, in our current world, and I think we both know we have our own stories about how we've been raised, but in our current world, right, obsessed with flawless selfies, and impossible standards, there is an epic showdown happening every day regarding perfection and imperfection, right?
Yes. And it's funny that you say that. You talk about your imperfection, because I was going to tell you exactly the opposite. I was reading one of your poems yesterday.
Ooh.
And I thought, wow, this is incredible. And I even thought, your English is perfect. Even though you're not a native speaker of English, it's perfect.
Oh my God, my
funny.
friend.
It's funny what you say about imperfection, because I saw it in the opposite,
Well, there is a story behind.
Oh, would you like to tell us?
Working for corporations, you are faced with so many opportunities to really, show yourself and to prove yourself, right? And I was at the beginning of my career, in my first 2 or 3 years, where I realized that I was in a corporation where English language was the mantra and it was the day-to-day dealing with things, right? I was not afraid with talking with my colleagues one-on-one, but I had this kind of fear of expressing myself, because I was thinking that my English language is not proficient enough to send a message. And I've lost so many opportunities, the opportunities to speak up, the opportunities to really be heard before others, because I was always thinking in my head, disabling my ability to speak up. Until one day, I was in this very large conference, right? And, people, diversity from different countries, different continents, and everyone was coming with their best presentation and their best thought forward, right? Oh. And here is this guy stepping on the stage with an English far from being perfect, or at least the standard of perfect in my life, right? And he had the best presentation ever, with standing ovations.
Wow.
Because what he did, he had so much visual expressing the message. And he used so much passion. He was so passionate about talking about the subject in a way that his English proficiency becomes secondary. So therefore, from that moment on, talking with him, and he expressed himself very simple, and this simplicity comes with the beauty, right? Sometimes we tend to be perfectionist and we are bringing so much complexity in all what we do, while being passionate about it, authentic, and thinking about the message, not necessarily the way how we are saying things. It's much more important.
And that's beautiful. because even your presence is going to tell more than your English, your pronunciation, you know. While I'm listening to your story, Kira, of course, it comes a lot of stories on my own. And you know that in my case, the language was not a problem at all, because I just wanted to talk, and I have been traveling around, so I can speak Portuguese, I can speak even Italian, English and Spanish. And what I realized listening to you is I was not paying attention to my pronunciation. I was just talking, you know, and I was talking really bad in Portuguese or in Italian because I didn't know how to do it when I arrived to those places. But one thing that you said is this passion with which you do things is going to drive you, you know. And I realized that even not knowing how to speak the language, I was not convincing, but influencing the native speakers to speak like me, you know. And some people in Italy told me, "Oh my God, I'm talking like you, and I'm making mistakes," you know. And I was like, "But I want to learn, not to teach you. Please teach me," you know.
Yes.
But in the last episode, we talked about courage and fear. And one of my fears was to do it imperfectly. So in order not to do it imperfectly, I didn't do it. For many years, I didn't deliver my message because I was feeling that I was not enough. I was not ready. I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't want to do it like wrongly, let's say. Yeah. Until one day told me, yeah, but you need to do it, because if not, people are not going to get to know you. What matters is the message. So I started doing it. I opened my Instagram, so I started doing it. And what I realized is that people always talk.
True.
People always talk. And they're always going to give an opinion on things, you know, but that is going to reinforce your imperfection or your, let's say, your goal. So I started doing it imperfectly, but I just did with courage. I did the jump, you know. And people talk. They were like, "Oh, that story that you put on Instagram, I can see the font. You should change the font. You should change the color. Oh my God, your Instagram seems a circus." And it was, yeah, I know, because I don't know how to do all that things. I just want to convey a message. I just want to express a story that was useful for me and deliver it to others that can benefit from that, you know.
Marilyn Monroe said it very nicely, right? So she said it like, imperfection is beauty, madness is genius, and it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring. So let's step out, you know, from this
or not being at all.
Boring, perfect way of doing things, and embrace our imperfection, because we are all unique.
We are unique.
And in the same time, you know, each of our imperfections, actually, they bring beauty, because knowing that there are things which I can improve, actually, this is a path for growth, right?
Yes.
So, Vicky, the message actually in itself, it's the one reigning supreme, right? So what messages from the stars we have in this episode?
Well, today is Saturday. We're still in the new moon energy.
Okay.
So that means that new moons open a new cycle of 6 months to create something new in our life. And we are in Gemini new moon. So we are going to create, I don't know, a new passion, a new study, new connections, yes? So first of all, I would like our visionaries versus visionaries to think, what would you like to be manifested from here in 6 months in your life?
Oh, I really need to write this down.
Yes. And it's not just an intention, it is a compromise. You can write intentions, but then you have to work on it. And I will tell you why. Because on the following days, before our next podcast, our next episode, we're going to have the waxing moon in Virgo. And Virgo represents perfection.
Oh,
Virgo.
gee, so...
Okay, what's the problem with Virgo energy? That it looks for perfection and it forgets that he has come to this life to optimize resources, to optimize reality. And perfection is like the enemy of optimization, because as you said at the beginning, we high-five with the unicorn. It does not exist in this world. So we have to understand that instead of looking for perfection, we need to look for optimization, our resources, our life, our create strategies, create plans. What do we want to achieve? So with this new moon, okay, I want this compromise, I want these intentions to be manifested in 6 months. Okay, with Virgo, what are we going to do to get that in 6 months? So we have to draw a plan. We have to see what resources we have, what we need to find. Yes, maybe even connections. Who can help us? You know,
the community.
The community. If I'm so perfect and I realize that I cannot move forward because of this perfectionism,
are stuck.
Maybe I can find an accountability partner who helps me do it, right? So I don't know, this is the energy of the universe. But before closing this episode, what would you say that you use to fight this perfectionism and move anyway with your imperfections? What have been useful for you?
So my mantra, it says that perfection is the enemy of progress.
Okay.
And I think as long as I understood that progress is the one moving things on and moving things farther, what I'm using a very clear steps and deadlines in order to move on. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that I rely on my close circle of friends to get unstuck when you are overthinking things. It's very important when you rely on your community, the ones close to you, the ones which are really caring about what you are doing and about your how, but also about your why you are doing things.
Why?
I know that I will never get stuck because they will push me forward, and I'll just forget about all this kind of perfectionism which plays in my mind. What about you? Do you have anything in your back pocket?
Well, let's see. Last episode I talked about the mirror. Yes. Yep. Well, I use it all the time for this too, even because it's so powerful. Talking about also perfection and imperfection, I realized that many times we just focus on the exterior part of ourselves, you know. And I saw this when I started giving this mirror technique to my advisees. Many of them cannot even do it because they told me I cannot look myself in the mirror. And because the first self-talk is, look at how many wrinkles I have, look at my skin, all my hair, I have black hair, white hair right now. So instead of going deep, connecting with my soul, I'm just focusing first on the exterior part. And that even prevents me from going deep and connect with my message, you know?
Yeah.
So I do it on purpose. Of course, I do it with myself all the time. I celebrate my white new hairs, but I give them to them as an exercise, and I push them to do it for at least 10 minutes. Not just going through the mirror, oh, hello, Vicky. No, just doing for 10 minutes,
do it
connecting.
With meaning.
With meaning.
And
looking into your purpose.
Yes.
Yes, for 10 minutes. and discover that self-talk has to change. When I start looking at my wrinkles and my white hair, I connect again. Okay, I accept you. I love you as you are. Now connect with your soul.
So,
Kira, let's do some call to action to our versus visionaries.
first of all, tell us how today versus resonated with you. Like us or dislike us on YouTube, right? And leave us comments about, how you can turn your imperfection into a superpower, right?
Oh my God, I like that.
Having any message to us is just going to help us improve and to come up to you with relevant topics for you guys, for our versus visionaries. And by next time, embrace contrast and keep harmonizing it. All the best. Fireworks. All the best, Vicky.
Fireworks.
See you next Saturday, my friend.
See you next Saturday, Kira.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.